spent my first 15 years trying to get out of the woods because I thought it was horrible. And I spent the next 20 years trying to get back. The truth of the matter is we need to be well-rounded individuals like our forefathers were.
What's up?
Doom. Monday, live Mountain Readiness from Appalachian Mountains. I'm T. Man, y'all, I'm going to tell you guys something. I love everybody. That's why I'm here. But, man, I am sick as a dog. Not even lying. We're just telling Pete right here, like I got the bad case of menopause out of nowhere. I'm just dripping sweat all of a sudden. Oh, the fever's in and out, back and forth. How many of y'all are sick? Everybody I know is sick. I don't know. What about you, Pete?
No, I'm well, don't jinx me now, knock on wood. But, you say you're sick. I just thought you were glistening. I thought this is what you do.
That's and if anything, it would be like the glitter because of my pale persona right here from like the Twilight movie. Like I have no color in my camera for some reason. I don't know if my lighting's not right. So look at your face. It's all vibrant.
I've been out.
Vibrant face.
I spent 3 days out in the sun in the woods with great folks. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But man, I got that vitamin E, D stuff going on. Man, I'm feeling good.
Man, down there in Florida, catching them rays. That's what it is. Andrew, what's going on, dude? Guy, freaking man, we got F5. Yeah, look like Mike's sick too. Seth, what's going on, brother? Of course, lovely Christy Renee, who was out there tramping around in the swamps this last weekend. We're going to talk about that stuff. But hey, guys, don't forget, smack that like button, subscribe, and if I could ask of you guys, give us a review. Like that's where I've been falling short of asking people to do. And it actually plays a big part is Google review. There's a Facebook review. Make sure you guys are doing that. Show us some love on that. We get beat up on the social media. Pete knows what that's like. Every time you put something out, it just gets squished. So those reviews help push algorithms. And, we appreciate that. Get on there, throw us a review, like, share, all that kind of stuff. Mr. Skullhead says, yeah. Give us a review.
That's the first time I've seen that.
My daughter bought this for me. Yeah, man, this thing is cool. It's my birthday present. It's like a life-size human skull. Got the jawbone and stuff. I'm going to make this part of the Mountain Readiness live from now on. Like this would just be he'll throw a comment in now and again.
Exactly, like that little puppet, suicide bomber puppet. You need to have him right on your shoulder.
I'm calling bullshit. That's right on there. Thanks, Taylor. Thanks for getting that for your dad so I can make an ass of myself on live stream. So it's also, let's see, Patrick 7, he says, T, you should name it Wilson. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? We'll take a poll, and you guys name Mr. Skullhead. Give me a name. And that's what we're going to name him. By the end of this show, we're gonna agree on the name for Mr. Skullhead. Bullshite evening. Larry, Suzanne. Man, we got a full house. We got a bunch of people rolling here.
We got a bunch of people over on Kick also. I'm kind of piggybacking on. You got Battle Gnome over there. You got Javi, Easy Life, Patrick Sevens, dual monitoring, I guess. And Larry Dials over there. He says, hello, everybody.
Very cool. See, I need to get up on my tech What do you got? Multiple screens rolling right there at the same time, Pete, or
Yeah.
what?
Oh yeah. I got 3 of them. I'm high tech. I didn't know how
Good,
to do any of this.
sweet.
Of course, Russ set me up and tried to get me big time. But there's always a cost to that, right, T? Like they all like to spend our money, right? They want to say you got to have this, you got to have this.
You
That
need
costs a lot
that.
of money, and I'm a cheap ass. So
Yes. No, I feel your pain on that. I feel your pain on that. I got the exact same. I got the exact same problem. Well, let me let me reiterate that. So I am cheap unless it's something that I really want. I
wow.
don't know about you.
Yeah.
Like if it's something I really want, I pay double. Like
Exactly.
doesn't even matter at
Exactly.
that point. Be like, no, I turn pennies into copper wire. Squeeze the shit out of a buffalo nickel. But oh wow, I need that right there, right now.
Exactly. And then you
Pay
have to
double.
have it right
So
now. Right
you
now,
have
you
to
have
have it
to have
right
it.
now.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. So last weekend you had the Eden Army 3 day. It was 3 days, wasn't it? Was it 2 or 3 days through the?
Okay, so we hiked in on a Friday and we left on a Sunday morning. So, 3 days, 2 nights. And what we tried to do, T, is we tried to do the walk where in my first book, 3 Days to Eden, that the father and daughter took at the very beginning before the event happened. So we actually took that exact same path. So we got to, give some of the people that were hiking a perspective of what the father and daughter went through on their hike
Right.
out before crap hit the fan, right?
Right. Did it play out anything like the book?
Well, no, thank God, because we'd all be there dead right now.
Everyone would be dead, right?
Yes.
I had to ask. I had to ask. I had to see if there was anything. What did everybody now? How many people? How many people? Because I really wanted to come to this, but it did not work with sicknesses and work and all that stuff. But how many people did you have there for this?
So I think we had about 10, give or take 1 or 2. So we hiked in. We started at a place called Juniper Springs in the Ocala National Forest. We parked the car there, and what we did is we had a little briefing beforehand, and we said, "Listen, this is your pack. We're preparedness people, so this is your bug out bag, which is great. Now let's see how it is actually bugging out and living out of that thing for 3 days, right?" And
Mm.
that's how we started.
Test that gear. Test
Yeah.
that gear. We just did the same thing with Alan Kay here 2 weekends ago, and that was it was funny. It was cool to see the broad spectrum of bug out bags that showed up. We had everything from a 20, oh, actually, no, we had everything from a 5 pound knapsack to a almost 90 pound
Yeah. See.
ruck.
Yeah. Yeah. Then that's
And
it. That just doesn't work. That doesn't work.
and by the end of it, everybody was sitting at about 25.
Yeah. Exactly.
So shed
Exactly.
all that weight, kicked it all out. It's amazing all the stuff that you can accumulate. But it was great. It was awesome to see. What did you see with everybody there on that trek? Was anybody shed any gear, or did they just hoof it and tough it out?
Yeah, well, no, we everybody just toughed it out. It was if you had to put that particular hike on a like a hiker level from 1 to 10 difficulty wise, the hike itself, well, I'm going to put it at like a 2. Right, the hike itself was not a horrible hike. The problem is if you've never walked with a backpack on for 6 miles through the prairie there with nothing but sugar sand and palmetto brush scrubs, guess what? You learn that there's a lot of stuff in that bag you could just as soon do without. So,
Yes. Factor 7, I need to follow you guys around and pick up free gear. No doubt,
yeah,
man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't
yeah, it
nothing wrong with that.
happens.
Now, I got to say, though, there is something to be said for better to have it and not need it, than to need it and not have it. And I will say I roll on the heavy side, right?
Hmm.
If I'm cruising and I've got my pack, like I've got it maxed out, and then I have to make that conscious decision depending on the situation. Okay, what do I have to do? Do I have to hike 5 miles? Do I have to hike 100 miles.
Right.
Those are all variables in that thing. How bad of a situation really is it? Do I need all this stuff? So
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
that
exactly what I think we saw. Now we set up mostly just we look. We certainly were not, or some of us did have our whole bug out accoutrement with us, right? But and I think they learned real quick that if that's your bug out bag and you're planning on bugging out on foot, you might have to reconsider your method of travel, right? Like, and
yes.
there's nothing wrong with that. It's just walking might not be for you. Now, we only did 6 miles on Friday, and some guys had 40, 50-pound packs. My youngin had a 28-pound pack, and she weighs about 100 pounds. But hell, 8 of those pounds were snacks, right? So it just all depends. So not to knock anybody, but if you're planning on walking with a bug out bag and you couldn't do that 5-6 miles, you might want to consider another option. Bicycles, e-bikes, nothing wrong with that.
Hey, yeah. Yes.
But that's the only way to understand that is if you actually get out and do it.
And do it. That there is and Ben, I got your message, brother. I've been sick. Like I said, it looks like tested positive for 5 different viruses. I feel sorry for that individual. But I got your message. I will be getting back with you. I just have been a little bit on the pansy side. That's basically it. I've been laying around and my mangina. That's what it comes down to. So only 2 names. Let's see, Skull Wilson and Heathen. So there's 2 names. I need a name for the skull, y'all. I mean, Wilson is what it's going to be so far, I think. So and then Mountainside Homestead and Ken and Amy. Thanks for joining us again. Glad you guys can make it back. So give us the rundown. So day 1, you walk. What was the temperature? You guys just scorching out there yet, or what?
So it was actually the warmest day so far of the year. It was in the 80s. High humidity, of course, in Florida. Most of the trail was nicely shaded, but once you hit that juniper prairie and you hit those little scrubs with no shade, and that's where everybody. And then there's a little uphill tee. Just not much. I mean, it's a Florida mountain, but it ain't a damn mountain. It's a little tiny uphill, and that got a couple people. But I tell you, the one person that really surprised me on the way out was old Christy Renee. She led the pack. She wanted to get there and get set up, and she was in front of the pack handling business.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how big was Christy's pack? I got to know. What was she rolling with?
Let's see. I'm looking at Christy. You're going to have to. Her pack was a.
Christy, hook us up.
Yeah.
What were you packing to be the leader of the pack there? Give us some. And did you find, because we have some people in here that did this ruck.
Mm-hmm.
Christy, did you find that you were lacking anything, or that you just had extra of stuff that you didn't need? Throw us that out there in the comments, because I would like to know. I love seeing what people are carrying around and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's and right here she says 25 to 28 with water. So that's pretty good.
With water, that's not a lot of weight for a 3-day pack.
You're doing good there. You're doing good. Did you have everything that you need, or did you rely on someone else? That's what I want to know. Did you need anything, or if you were on your own, would you have been fine?
Well, I'll answer that for her, because I would say, her and Guy went out together, right? So right. I would say there might have been some, some leaning on one another there, which is nothing wrong with that. They're battle buddies. They're a couple.
That's right.
And sooner or later they would group up if something happens. But I would say they're probably relied on each other. I would say for the most part, though, everybody had exactly in their pack. Now I know my 2 girls had everything they needed. They didn't. They had their filtration system. They had everything they wanted to eat, and then some. But for the most part, I think everybody out there lived out of their own pack without much reliance on other people. or could have. T. Now there was some. Susan brought something, and we'll go over it on my podcast on Thursday night. Brought a 6-liter filtration pack that was freaking amazing. Like you do not have to walk down to the pond for 1 or 2 liters at a time. You could fill up this 6-liter bag, filter it out right there at your campsite. When the 6-liter bag went down, you can make the 100-200 yard trek to the pond and fill that thing up again. That ended up being a lifesaver for a lot of us because we all really leaned on that. Not that we had to, but it certainly was convenient.
Makes it. Yeah. I mean, path of least resistance for sure. Now, so you guys were filtering the water. You were making fires, filtering water, shelter, the whole bit.
Whole 9 yards. Well, now we carried the shelter in. Now we weren't making primitive shelter and stuff like that. My whole plan for this was let's feel some weight on your back and let's see what it feels like to walk for a little bit of time. And I wanted to make it to where it wasn't a 1 mile walk. Look, about anybody can do a 1 mile walk. Let's get it to where your mind is saying, I want to stop, but your body still has a little more left in you. And I think around that 6 mile range for the day, pretty much where everybody was at. So that was pretty good for everybody.
No, I think 5 to 6 miles. I know I did 20 is the most I've done in a day. And I'm going to tell you, 20 miles with a ruck is brutal. These people who are doing 20 plus miles a day, that's just mind blowing to me. You've got to be a hardcore person on the trail to pull off 20 plus a day. And so, 5 to 7 miles, you are definitely uncomfortable and hating life at that point. You're ready to stop.
Yeah. Well, me and my daughter, we did this trip about every year. We would go and it'd be just me and her. We'd go do some daddy-daughter time. And we had done section hikes on the AT, on the Appalachian Trail. And she had mentioned to me, she goes, Dad, on this trip, she goes, the first day is always the hardest because I don't have my trail legs under me. Once I get my trail legs, about around the 3rd day of walking, then doing that 14-mile jaunt, it does not seem nearly as bad as that 5-mile walk when you first started. So there's something to be said about gaining your trail legs while you're out there.
I agree with that. Not only that, I would say at the 3rd day, you're finding all the hot spots and the rub spots on your foot and applying moleskin and getting all that stuff worked out. So,
and you look, even when you've got new gear and new boots, even on our little hike, we had some people there that had to apply some moleskins. And my youngin had a hot spot, and I told her, I said, if we were multi-day hiking, I'd want you to stop right now and take care of your feet. No matter what you're doing right now, take care of it because it's going to be miserable. So,
you let that go too long, game over. I did a hike. It was last year, but I thought the going uphill was bad. It was quite a few miles. It was probably 5 miles up, but coming back down, my shoes were new and they didn't fit right, and my feet were sliding because you're automatically kind of kicking your foot sideways, to not lose traction going down the hill. You're kind of shuffling back and forth. I kid you not, that 5 miles down destroyed my feet. I mean, blisters tore all up, and I didn't have any moleskin on me, and they were new shoes, and it's not like I could just switch out. So it was, grit your teeth and bear it and get all the way back down the hill. And sometimes the going down the hill is 10 times worse than going up, I found.
My last section hike on the AT, I tapped out on the downhill. I couldn't do it. My knees, something was happening with my knee, and I knew it was at that point, that point where it's about to give out, and you got to go to work in a couple days, right? So you don't want that thing to give out. So you're like, listen, I gotta call the ball here and pop a flare. But the downhills, that's a whole different muscle group. They're miserable,
and bad shoes will ruin it. What was the water bladder? Can I ask? What was the make? Was it
let me give me a minute there. We'll revisit that. It's in one of my blogs. It was one of my go-to items. But I'll look that up here in a second. We'll find it. Yeah.
12-pound belt line, 14-pound chest rig, 25-pound pack, Got to spread it out. Previous injuries. I agree. And that's still, wait, 25, 35, 45.
That's a heavy pack, boy.
That I'm gonna tell you, you're a heck of a man. How many miles are you doing on that, Savage Hunter? Because that there makes my feet hurt just reading what you just said right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was that's big time. And again, that's these packs are set up mostly for just camping for the 3 days. These weren't looking. We didn't have those extra freedom seeds with us that we would normally have in our bug out bags, right? We didn't have, we didn't need our little water 4-way water Silcock key, stuff like that. Just shaving those ounces off, But I went out with a purpose, not just for the people that went with us, but even myself, right? I want to test myself a new backpack. How does this work? Got that new 511 Rush 72, spent a lot of money on it. I'm like, this is going to be great. Nah, not a hiking backpack. Not one I'm going to hike with. Not going to happen.
No.
It'll be a truck backpack, and that's about it. But you have to learn these things, right?
You have to. And sometimes, and I will tell you, and this being a firearms instructor, you've been on the ranges, you've done a ton of training. Fire department, turnout gear alone. I did firefighter for 7 years. That turnout gear, 70 pounds, getting stuff to fit right to work, but it's way different. It's way different from just moving around for a couple hours to walking 6 to 10 miles.
Absolutely.
I remember, I found real quick, I went to Clarksville last year and was on the range with Carl, tactical rifleman, for 5 days straight. And that whole mags, right? Your pistol mags right there at the center of your belt line to where you can just index them right out and slam them in your pistol.
Sure.
That works great. That works great until you do it for 12 hours on a range. Right. And then if you have a little bit of that midsection, them things eat your fat up, dude. Yeah. Like my fat row here was just bruised black and blue after a couple of days of that. And and I figured it out because 2 hours on the range is way different than 12 hours on the range.
Right. Exactly. And you're right, because that's how I wanted to set up that walk, to where, listen, we're out there, so you want to leave, there's nowhere to go. You're walking the 6 miles back out. No matter which way you go, no matter how much you want to give up, you have to walk back out. Regardless, no one's coming to help you. We're going to carry you out, or we're going to walk you out, whatever. It doesn't matter. But long and short, you're walking your ass out of that, and that's just is what it is.
That's it. And Cafe Bustelo, that stuff is stout.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, like, that stuff had my ears ringing drinking that with Alan Kay. That's all he drinks. And I didn't realize that you don't just pour it, you just don't dump it right into the cup. I just big old hump. That man, I was jittery, higher than a cat's ass. I was all over the place that class, man. But Cafe Bustelo, that's good stuff. What you say here? Water drop 1.5 gallon. I'm gonna have to check that out, man. I'm gonna have to check that out. Here's something that I went down the rabbit hole a little bit on Googling, but I watched a movie. Last night, and it was a boyfriend and girlfriend, and they went on vacation over in Australia. And don't ask me what the name of the movie was. I was in and out of sleep, but they went over there, and their car, they stop because their GPS quits working, and they get out of the car and they're going to walk up to a ridge. It gets dark. All of a sudden they're lost. They can't find their way back to their car. So I'm not sure if it was based on a true story. I think there was something of a true story on it, but it was horrible. These poor two, what a crummy gig, Australia outback, just burning to death. But this dude, he's recycling urine at the end of the show. Like, he's peeing in the bottle and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, you know what? I mean, I get it. They say you can drink your urine if you have to, but it's super bad for you. Yeah. And I was like, has anybody ever filtered their urine in a Grail? And so I Googled it and started looking it up. And I was like, if you got a Grail, which I've got one, Brian Loftus hooked me up with one of those. And I was like, you got to, if you're peeing, and now this, you got to be in the desert, right?
Well,
It's got to be
yeah,
the desert because here, like if you can't find water where I'm at, like you're probably paralyzed from the waist down, and that's why you can't get to the water.
Exactly.
So that would be the only time you'd have to drink your pee, right? but don't ask me why I do these things. But come to find out, it will filter it. But this is something that I want to bring up. Is let me pull up my little camera phone here. I'm horrible at this stuff, guys. Just give me a second. Collections, and let me go here. Where is it at? Where's my screenshot
I think at
stuff?
one point Ted-Eye did that on his dual survival show. I think
He
he
did.
ended up drinking his pee.
It was Joe and Chris Cody London.
Yes,
And Cody
the
was
barefoot
like,
guy.
he said, you do realize that it's horrible to drink your pee. And Joe was like, I just have to wet my whistle, man. I'm just going to, and he pees in his helmet and he just, takes a big swig.
That's,
I mean, it made for a good show though. It did
right. Well, exactly. Look, we're talking about it years later. It had to make for a good show, right?
He drank his pee out of a motorcycle helmet. Yeah, it was something like that. It was a helmet. I thought it was a bump hat or something. Could have been a motorcycle helmet. But here's what we got after studying for a little bit. The GeoPress filter system, like the Grail, can technically filter urine to remove some bacteria and particles, but is not recommended to drink the filtered urine as it will still contain high levels of salts and other waste products that the filter cannot remove, making it unsafe to consume even after filtering. So always prioritize finding other water sources. So this brings up another question to me is how good is the Grail GeoPress when it all breaks down? I mean, I would have thought that it would have filtered that kind of stuff out. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just expecting more out of it than what I thought. But when you say it wouldn't filter out the levels of salt and other waste products, I mean, that's the whole point of that Grail filter system, isn't it?
Right. I would suspect so. And I think at Mountain Readiness, I mean, we did the waterboarding one year. I think now it's a time to get Carl and Emery to go ahead and test this thing out. I mean, we can get Carl to go ahead and fill a motorcycle helmet, put it in the Grail, and I'm sure Emery will go, test the specimen.
Yeah, I think we can get our Emery to do that. I don't, Emery isn't watching, but I'm going to reach out to Emery and see if he's down with this. So I've got to check.
So fun fact with the urine and the how to stay hydrated with it, you actually can do it relatively safely if you do it rectally. So collect it, give yourself an enema, and you'll take in some of the water from that. Fun fact.
I'm not even going to ask how you know this.
No, I read that. Impressive. I did not try that on my. Look, I test a lot of things because I'm the more like I should probably test this out just because I read it on the internet. No, I didn't. I did not personally test this one out. I actually read it on in a book. So allegedly, that's so. Listen, if you guys try that when you're watching this, you try that and you get sick. Don't blame Pete Robertucci. I saw this on the podcast. Right. Don't blame me.
Disclosure.
Yeah.
Full disclosure. This is we hold no responsibility or liability to in the event. Yes. Patrick 7, he said here, he laid back and drank like a fountain. I mean, yeah. I mean, it'll make for good television too. But once again, maybe we can get Emery to do this for us. And Andrew is saying salt removal is different. Is what he's saying here. What is wrong with my keyboard? It's doing all kinds of weird stuff. Trying to, whoa. It's just hopping around everywhere, guys. I think I got my little keyboard wet. Let's see here.
Here we go.
Only 2 types of water filtration or purification system can remove minerals from water: distillation and reverse osmosis. Now, distilling I knew was one of those 2. Which they would do with salt water, which is fine, but it's all that extra time in it. And that's why I was like, man, if you had a filter that could do that, that would be a game changer.
That would be, and I think, I think that's well, hell, maybe we need Elon Musk onto this and see if he can't make.
Yeah, let's get Elon. Elon, if you're out there and you're watching this,
oh, he tunes in. I talked to him. He definitely tunes in every Monday night.
Yeah, pass this on to him. Tell him just to give us a little bit of love off the side action when he makes those billions. But think about that. Being able to make salt water drinkable. That there in itself, man, is that there is awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, and then my lovely, beautiful bride, Grassy drank his pee at Mountain Readiness. Yes, he did. I don't know if any of y'all knew this, but David Grassy, a North Carolina native who was a survivalist at the first Mountain Readiness, he did drink his pee, and he's done it at a few other events. I wouldn't suggest it once again, but he said something to the extent of a nutty, fruity flavor or something like that.
No. But I would agree. I would probably agree with him. It probably is a nutty, fruity flavor, if anything else. What in the hell?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Too busy dismantling the government. Yeah. I mean, boy, there's some craziness going on in the world. That's for sure. What's your take on the world? What do we have to look forward to here in the next 6 months, Pete? I mean, you stay up on the national news. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I'm not that guy. Like, I don't know. I don't get into it. And for some reason, I can never find enough time. Let's rephrase that. I can't absorb it. Like it just goes in one side and it pops out the other. I don't know if my brain just doesn't work that way, but I know you stay on top of this stuff nonstop. I just saw that the cartels are blowing people's vehicles up. Did you? Mm-hmm. I'm sure you saw that. So we've got cartels blowing stuff up all over the place. We've got terrorist attacks. We've got these plane crashes. The Apache flying into the plane. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so I don't believe in coincidences. Now the plane deals are a whole different story. But I think we're going to have a busy summer. We're already starting to see protests from the Mexican American community. We're already starting to see protests now. Even today, protests from the FBI. They were walking out and protesting. And the funny thing is, they look weird. They look exactly like the same protesters on January 6th. Could you even imagine that? They looked exactly the same. Interesting. But we're going to look, and this is still springtime. Come summer, when this stuff starts ramping up and these policies that Trump's enacting, and I'm not so much a Trump fan, but the policies that he's enacting now, these EOs that he's writing, they're going to start to work.
Yes.
And then the protests are going to start ramping up. Now, right now, they're not working. Yeah, the price of stuff could potentially go up a little bit with these tariffs, but we're already starting to see Canada. We're already starting to see Mexico, Venezuela. We're all starting to see these countries start to capitulate, start to give up, because they're understanding now that they're able to negotiate with this guy. And that's all this is a negotiation tactic.
All right.
But I think protests are going to ramp up, especially come this summer. So be prepared for it, because it's going to happen. I promise you that.
We have already started seeing here in Charlotte. Of course, Charlotte is around 2.5 hours from where we live. I mean, we're out in the sticks and the boonies, but the Charlotte being the major city towards the coast from us, and they've got the immigration protest going on there in Charlotte currently as we speak. So that's been happening the past few days. And of course, that's all around the country. These immigration. I'm surprised they haven't blown up and started really getting violent. I figured I would see a lot more violence out of it, but it looks like a powder keg to me.
It is, and it's only going to take that one shot heard around the world, right? That one cop that might be overzealous, or that one cartel member that kind of snuck in over the border and wants to cause some chaos. Or how about CIA, the CIA gal that already says that Al Qaeda is on our soil, right? And they're just waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Sooner or later, they're going to take advantage of this chaos and launch their attack, right? So, and then if they can hide behind these protests, it's going to potentially be a bloodbath. So why do we even mention that? It's not because we're trying to scare people, but the potential is there, and you can remove yourself from that kinetic type of activity if you're prepared and you don't have to go to the grocery store and go into town, right? So keep your preps up,
Yes.
folks. This is just because the orange man is in office, things aren't peachy keen, right? We need to still keep our preps up.
No, I agree. Yeah, high speed for sure, Patrick. It is hard to keep up. It's like it's a mind blur, mind boggling trying to keep up with. There's so many things happening all at the same time. And we got Chuck in the house, Homestead Medical. What's going on, Chuck? Yep, don't drink your pee. Even Chuck said. There you have it. So let it be written. So shall it be done.
I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to me, Chuck. I don't know, but I've never been that thirsty, I reckon. Now, I mean, some people, that's just their nightly ordeal.
Get into that. They get into that thing, I mean, maybe that's what it is. I do in the movie. It was pretty. And I don't, like I said, I think there was some. I think it was based off real story, real life something or other. But the dude got back to the car, and of course the car was dead, and he sucks out all the windshield wiper fluid, drinks it just so he can pee in a bottle to have something to drink, for his girlfriend. And I'm like, this is going to end badly.
Yeah, I think I've seen that on a movie one time, but I don't think that was the context of it.
Yeah. So that's how that went down. And so his girlfriend lives, and he dies, of course, because he just drank, alcohol and all this
Right.
other bad stuff that's in windshield wiper fluid. And the premise was like she lives because she had like a half a bottle of his partially filtered windshield wiper urine, to get her get her where she needed to go. And I was like, man, where's the Grail when you need one?
Yeah, so guys, remember, we write fiction books and stuff like that. Sometimes you got to remember some of that stuff is fiction. You don't, it's not the gospel. I promise you that. So don't drink washer fluid.
At the same time, think about the average Joe. There is a lot of people. Here's number one: when you leave in your vehicle, like have your preps with you, right? Like if they'd have had their preps with them, and they were on vacation, they had their duffel bag, but they didn't have any food. They had a limited amount of water. They didn't have adequate fire starting capability. I mean, nothing. Nothing. Just some novelties in a backpack. And if you planned ahead, then that being stranded in the Australian outback may have ended better for them.
Absolutely.
Than drinking ethylene glycol, like Bullshite said.
There you go. Absolutely. Yeah. And and that's one thing. When my youngin went away to college, even though she was only 3-4 hours away, I made sure we packed up her bag and look, this stays in your trunk, girl. This stays in your trunk. Here's everything in it. And something happens, let's come up with a game plan. And I kind of made fun of fiction books in just a little bit, but and I got that idea from Franklin Horton in his Locker 9 series, right? Because his youngin went to college and he had a plan to get her back home. So absolutely. Oh boy. Yeah, there you go.
Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate that FIB preparedness. Thanks, Mike. Looking forward to seeing you guys back out there as well, as always. Just things in your vehicle. What do you keep in your vehicle, Pete? Just for emergencies. What does your vehicle look like for emergency get home / roadside repair What's it? Give us some stuff here. Give
Yeah.
us.
So here's the thing about mechanical stuff and Pete Robertucci. If my car breaks down, I'm screwed. I'm done. Look, I'm not going to fix it. It's
What?
not.
No,
I'm
Pete.
not built that
No.
way. I know. I know. I get it.
No.
I
Tell
understand.
me
I
it's
get it.
not true.
I'm just not built that way. Now I could go steal someone's car potentially, but I'm not. I'm not the guy that's going to fix my own. But with that
Uh,
being said, I based on how far away I go from my home, I make sure my pack is set up. I always carry a 3-day pack because I'm never too far away. And as you guys saw on that little walk there we did, how many of you guys look? We only did a 6-mile walk, right? So if you're 18 miles from home and that 6-mile walk wore you out for one day, guess what? Your 3-day pack's only going to last you for 18 miles. So just think about that.
mhm.
Think about that, right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah, but
SHTF
so,
Hunter.
yep.
Hey, look, man, baby wipes got to be in there too, dog. I'm sorry. Like I'm
Baby
spoiled.
wipes are a
Baby
lifesaver.
wipes.
Yeah, yeah. Dude
Like if
wipes,
you ain't
baby
got
wipes. You
baby
got to have
wipe,
them.
I I got one in the truck. I got one in my bag. I got one in the get home bag. Baby wipes everywhere, man.
Look, T, I have IBS, so that stuff could hit me at any moment, at any place, and I could be on the 95 highway, and I'm not going to make it to the rest stop. Pull over, I'm in the
It's
woods.
just a
I gotta
fresh.
have. That's one
It,
thing I gotta have. Those I gotta have toilet paper and baby wipes.
it's
It,
just
it,
freshening up wise too. Like I've been on the long, ruck where at the end of the day you just kind of take the whore bath with the baby wipes. I call it a whore bath,
oh, that's
just
what
a
I
little
call it
wipe
too.
down in the sink, little smell good on and call it a day. But you just feel so much better. Like instantly you can relax and go to sleep.
Yeah, it's a morale booster. There's a lot of that stuff's a morale booster. Even when I was making dinner at night, when we were hiking, I typically would make my dinner just before I'm ready to go to bed because it just felt better. It kept you warmer, right? You're digesting that food. But back to the IBS and my problems. The first thing I do when I get to the campsite, I set up my tent and then I go out into the woods. And everyone asks me, "What are you going? You going to get firewood?" I go, "No, looking for a poop log. I gotta find out exactly where it's at. I hang a damn chem light on it in case I gotta run to it at night, and
Right?
I'm good to go. But that's like
Good to
that's my
go.
priority. Camp poop log. That's the way it is.
I agree. Amber found me it's a fold up toilet seat. Like this thing folds all up into a little square. And
Yeah,
I was like, man, I threw it in the truck. I'm like, that's worth packing around. Because just like you, when nature calls, man, I've got to go. That's just it.
yeah. Old American Prepper was on the a hike with us, and he had brought a chair, and I'm looking at that chair, and I'm scoping it out, and I go, does that fabric slide over? And he goes, yeah. I go, that's a poop chair. That is and
Mm,
he sure enough went out there and he goes, it worked perfect. I go, excellent. Keep it around in case I can't get to my log. So
as a road service tech for many years, I was stuck in a box truck, side of the interstate, parking lots, ditches, I-95. I mean, I've done road service all over the place. And you want to talk about living on the edge? Go do road service on the side of I-95.
yeah. Oh,
So
I know. Yeah.
right in Florence, South Carolina. I-95 used to run service calls all the time there, rebuilding engines and all kinds of stupidity. But I had you ever seen the handicap bedside toilets?
Oh yeah.
It's got like it
Little
unfolds
commodes. Yeah.
and it's got a little commode in there, toilet seat, and you put a little liner in it and stuff. Son, that was in my shop truck for 9 years. Like I would
That's a
bring
good
people
idea.
in to well, what are you going to do? You're on the side of the interstate and you're like, man, it's that time. What are you going to do? Be like, hey, yeah, sorry, I'll be back. I'm going to go down to Burger King.
Yeah.
Nah, jump in the back of the truck, slam the door shut, do your business, slam it up. It was funny though. I would train people. And so now and again, I'd get a new trainee, I'd shut the door and I'd forget to tell them, hey, if the door's shut, don't come knocking, and they'd slam the door open. I'm sitting there reading a book and sitting on the toilet in the back of the service truck, like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm like, hey, man, just shut the door, but, it's a great way of doing it. It's a great way of doing it. You got to have that kind of stuff. And you don't realize how important it is until you don't have it.
Oh, I know. It's always on my mind. It could happen at any moment, and I know I have about 30 seconds to get where I need to be, or else I'm changing clothes. That's it. It's just happening.
That's it. Sometimes you got to trash the undies. You guys seen the toilets that mount to the back of the truck? Yes, I have. Great idea if you got your truck with you to do what you need to do, as long as you got a place to park it. This is horrible, but true story. I was working in a huge what are you laughing at, Pete?
I just whenever you say this is a true story, I know it's going to be good.
You're like, oh my God, here it comes. You just start laughing, and we haven't even got to the punchline. But no, I was working on a yard. I can't say what the yard was, but I was working on this humongous distribution yard, and this thing, like 7,000 trailer parking areas, big semi trailers. Like, that's how big you're talking about, a city of trailers and trucks. And so, it's one of those like the log, but there's not logs. There's just trailers everywhere. So I found the ICC bumper on the back of the trailer. They would all back up to the fence line, and it was like a grassy area. And I was like, grab the baby wipes. I got the baby wipes right there with me. I run to the back of this trailer, lean up against the back of the trailer, and I'm doing my business. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Not going to have to change my clothes. All of a sudden, this trailer rocks forward. I'm like, oh my, one of the spotter trucks had hooked to it, and it takes off. I'm leaned up against it, my pants around my ankles. And all of a sudden, this trailer takes off. I'm crapping all over the place, trying to keep my, pull my pants up. And here goes the trailer. Here I am, just pants around my ankles, right there in the middle of this parking lot. Trailer pulls away. It was horrible. I just throw that out there. That was one of those things like, watch what trailer you leaned up against. Watch where you're doing your business. You never can.
It's all about situational awareness at that point, right? And it was funny when you called me today, T, and you go, Pete, I need you on the show tonight because we're going to talk about pooping. I was like, yeah, hell yeah,
I'm there. We're going to talk about drinking pee, baby wipes, pooping. I mean, we're covering all the bases. What is wrong with us? Oh, what is this? What? You're a road service tech. I'm sorry. That's a horrible thing to be. It A's great, but it sucks. Pete, we need to do a class. I need to give you a class on that vehicle self-rescue, man. That's what we need. What to keep in your truck. What to keep in your truck, how to patch a tire, how to dismount and mount a tire, how to air it up without any air.
Yeah, I need that because I have a feeling AAA. Look, AAA doesn't work during good times. I'm pretty sure they're not going to work when crap hits the fan. So,
yeah. I thought about doing a class, and guys, I may have asked this before, but would you guys want to do a class on vehicle self-rescue? If I taught one on how to plug a tire, how to patch it, how to change it, how to jump start your car, how to jump across your starter solenoid, bypass the solenoid, all this type of stuff that gets you out of stupidity. Anybody interested in that? Maybe I can put something together.
Over there on Kick, they said absolutely.
Right on. Well, and that's
they said as long as it's scheduled for 8 a.m. on every day of Mountain Readiness.
A.M. Now, see, I know you're just like me. You love getting up early and starting early. Yeah. And that's why 8 a.m. was like, man, I'm letting Pete sleep in big time.
It was no problem. And you know who also? Mel likes 8 a.m. I found out. So Mel, Chris is what? Yeah. So any class that that she might like, schedule that one for 8 a.m. She'll definitely show up.
And from my understanding, Chris loves 8 a.m. as well. In fact, Chris said he's actually more keen to 7:30 a.m. is what I was told.
Will over there on Kick says that class is a great idea. He'd be interested in it.
Right on. Well, I will try to put something together that we can do that, because I tell you just what I keep in my truck. Like that's a mechanic on wheels there. I've got the tools that I need, jumper cables, air compressor, patch and plug kit, water, all the stuff that's in there. And unless I have a major failure or breakdown, there's not much that I can't get myself rolling again with.
Well, and
now
I make
engine.
Yeah, I make fun. I'm a pretty mechanically inclined guy. I don't have the knowledge, the list, like what parts and pieces do I need. So at least at a very minimum, just like look, these are the parts and pieces you should have in your truck, right? To self rescue. I mean, that if you didn't want to do a class, we would definitely go over that on my podcast for sure. But I just don't have the knowledge to put that list together.
When I come on your show before Mountain Readiness, let me put one together. We'll talk about that.
There you go.
I'll go through the whole thing and put something together. What's Bullshite saying here? He says 0600 at 0400. Hey man, you nailed it. Like that's where I'm at. Like you're singing that's my area right there. 5 minutes early is 15 minutes late. Now, I'm going to tell you, unless you're Carl Erickson, that guy will drive around in a circle, and so he can pull in exactly to the second that the time he's supposed to be there. He does not do 5 minutes early or 5 minutes later or nothing. It's exact. And he said the reason is the helicopter pilots would tell him, he said he went in helicopter for extraction. And the guy said, look, we're rolling in. It's 30 seconds plus or minus. And Carl's like, hey, I get it. He's like, no, you don't get 30 seconds plus or minus. If you are not here 30 seconds before to 30 seconds after, we leave you. We come in and we're gone. And so that's kind of his thing. So he will go in. He doesn't do 5 minutes early. It's like that dude would drive around the block 3 times just to roll in right at the exact time. I've seen it. It's awesome.
That's engraved in his brain. That's it.
That's it. So, man, I've been yapping away here, Pete. We need to roll some stuff. What do we got, Russ? We got some stuff here on what do we have, Russ, for I don't even remember what Russ said. I'm delusional from my fever.
Got something going. Something's happening.
Dead. Holster your firearms. Outstanding. Shoot. Change the magazine. Change the magazine. Let's go. Change the magazine. Shoot! Figure out, check the gun. Scan it for threat, hold your firearm. Lock the slides back. Pick up your magazine. Now let's do it again.
Oh, thank you, Russ.
And I love that part there. The way that video ended was beautiful. Pick up your magazine and let's do it again. Right. And then fade. Great stuff. I didn't get to attend the class. It sucks. Even during the event, I get to clean toilets and empty trash. And then after the event, I'm cleaning up and emptying trash and, but it was awesome to come over there and see just that part of class. It was worth it just for that. Seeing that part of class.
Yeah, we had a good time. And those guys over at Troy's Gate are amazing. They gave us access to the range. They made it affordable for everybody, which was really cool. And we're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again the 5th and the 6th, right after Mountain Readiness. And we still got a few spots available. So you're interested,
5th and the
contact
6th. Hey, look,
anybody.
y'all jump in on that. Like, no, how many students are you taking? 20, 15?
Yeah, we'll max it out at 12. So we got about 4 spots
12.
left, and then
Okay.
we'll make it happen. So get in
Hey,
there, get
look
on
here,
it.
guys. Get in there. It's going to change your life, to say the least. It will change your life. And I don't think there's any better training for when, especially with, I think, what we're facing here in the country up and coming. Like Troy's Gate to me is the ultimate way to prepare yourself mentally for some stupid crap. That's
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Was there something else, Russ? Did we have something else that we were going to play? Oh, there we go. Scan it, share it right there. The Eden Army.
Yep.
Um,
All you gotta do is scan that code. You're gonna get all of our social media everywhere. We do a podcast on Thursday nights on all the platforms. We like to talk about current events, and then we try to get into a little bit of preparedness and stuff like that. This week's gonna be good because what we're actually gonna do is get some of these people that took the hike with us. We're gonna get them online.
Oh.
We're gonna get them on here. What'd you learn? What could you do without? You know, maybe this changed your whole idea, whether you're going to bug out or now you got to bug in. So we're going to get their perspective on the hike, and they don't know that yet, but I'm going to make them do it. And we're gonna get them on there, and we're going to see what their perspective was, if it was of value to them, what they learned, if they've just picked up one little nugget of information. I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
Hey, that 100%. That would be phenomenal to get that firsthand account, man. And share, because there's a lot of stuff, and sometimes what works for one doesn't work for another. You know, I've got the guy who showed up with the almost 90-pound ruck is a good friend of mine. The guy literally weighs $170. Okay, He's 52 years old, and he wins Spartan races. Like that's all this guy does. So he was passing me up with a 90-pound ruck. And he was like, man, I think I'm a little bit heavy. I was like, man, you make me sick. Like literally make me sick that you can pack that much weight and then pass us all. But, certain guys like that, like if you're one of them people, you may be able to pull that off.
Right.
I don't know for how long, but I guarantee you he could have had 5 miles on him with that 90-pound ruck. He would have made it. He's just that guy. And that new design of the Eden Army, congrats on that. That thing is awesome.
Thank
you. Eden Army hoodie right now. Awesome, Mike. I need to get me a hoodie. I do not have an Eden Army hoodie either. I need to do that. How bad I get buddies at let's see, what's Patrick say? Ninja Tactical Gear. I'm with them and quickly realize the stuff is junk. There is a lot of junk out there. I will say that. And man, I have shelves full of it. I have shelves full of stuff that I thought was going to work out great, and then it just ended up sucking, being just a worthless piece.
Yep.
Something that I really liked that Alan Kay did in our class was that guy don't even have a tent. Like his pack is like 25 pounds. There's no tent. There's no nothing. No sleeping bag, nothing. He has level 7 gear, insulated gear, and some wicking layers and a German poncho. Wow. And this dude, he'll sleep out in sub-zero weather and be fine. Like putting those layers together perfectly. It was amazing to see everybody's packs. Like he laid out his pack and was like, here, check this out. Here's what I got. Why do you need this when you can just do this? Why do you need a tent? He's like, how can you shed all these pounds and still get the job done? And that was probably the most intuitive and best part of the class, was being able to see that, man, you can do a whole lot with a lot less. That tent, everybody packs the big tent and the roll and all this kind of stuff. If you dress correctly, you don't need it. You just need to stay dry and warm.
Yeah, and that was a difference that we kind of tried to show on our hike, T, because we had my buddy come out. And he's one. I don't know if you know this, but there's a certain sect of people that do this bike camping on their bicycles, and his entire bike, his gear, everything for 3 or 4 days. He'll do a 400-mile bike ride, by the way, and just camp wherever. Weighed 52 pounds, bike included.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about ultra light, you're living on the bare minimum. These guys have it down to a science, and we got to expose the guys on this hike to a little bit of that also. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. It's not just walking out for 3 or 4 days. A lot of different ways to do it.
No, exactly. Mall Ninja Taco. Heck yeah, it is. Nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. Andrew, man, I'm jealous. I still have not ordered mine. Have you seen these German ponchos, Pete?
I have not.
I will send you a link. Unfortunately, I do not have it. Unless Andrew, do you have a link or the name of that just offhand that you can throw on here? But at the end of the day, these ponchos, man, are like the most tough stuff I've ever seen. Like they use them for gurneys, shelters, gurneys. Like you can tie these things and throw a body on them and carry them.
I'm looking at it as you're talking about it. Holy crap! Looks like a wingsuit. It looks like a wingsuit almost.
Game changer. Like this is what Alan packs 2 of these around. One's for shelter and one's for, just a backup or additional. And or a rain catch. Like, because he'll flip it up, tie it up, flip it upside down. The hood's now a funnel, ties it up, gets him a rain catch. And but man, these things are awesome. They are awesome, dude. So cool. Super whoopee. Yeah. But no, you should get you one of those. You'll be super impressed. We were playing with the ones there that Alan had. I did not know they made a poncho that was like thing is literally indestructible. You could pull a truck with that thing.
That is very cool. Yeah, I'm looking it up. All right, it's on my list. It's on my list of other stuff I need to test out.
Some more stuff to test and buy. There's nothing wrong. Let's see, Coleman Surplus, $45.
Yep, awesome. That's the one I'm looking at. $44.99.
Found it. Well, run us out of here, Pete.
Okay, so guys, just because the orange man's in office, we are not safe. Everything is not hunky-dory. It is going to get worse, especially when these policies that he's implementing start working, because the radical left doesn't want to see him succeed. So they're going to bring it to the streets, and it's only going to take that one time to get very, very violent. And the orange man's not going to back down. So it's going to be a real crap show. So keep your training up. You got to. And look, when all else fails, buy my books. Why not? If you got nothing better to do.
Yeah. Hey, look, that's a great way to, look, stay home, stay out of the big cities, buy Pete's books and read them. Stay at home and read Pete's books. Yeah. The end.
Yeah. Ignore everybody.
Not only does Pete's books, that they're educational, enjoyable, but they keep you safe.
Exactly. And you can use them for toilet paper if you buy the hard copy.
You can use them for toilet paper. Make sure to double those up with baby wipes. But exactly. Wilson said, Pete's books. That's right. That's what we're doing. Wilson it is. We're going to keep him around. Ladies and gentlemen, Pete, thanks for being on, man. Thanks for jumping in here last second, as always. And look forward to touching base with you again. Russ, go ahead and roll us out of here, man. Till next time, y'all. Be safe.